Welcome to EvoDrive Official. Today we're uncovering the ultimate showdown, Tesla versus BMW EV 2025. Two of the biggest names in the world of electric vehicles are going head-to-head, and the shocking truth about who will rule the future might surprise you. From insane acceleration and futuristic design, to battery power, AI-driven features, and next-level performance, we'll break down every detail that makes these EV giants stand apart. So, who will dominate the roads of tomorrow? Tesla's innovation or BMW's engineering mastery? Stay tuned till the end because the results will blow your mind. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the latest updates about future cars, inventions, and technology that will change the world. The arena of range. What if I told you the biggest battle in the car world today isn't about horsepower or speed or even style? It's about distance. How far can you go before the battery dies? This is the new arena, not Rome's Colosseum, not the racetrack, but the arena of range. And what happens inside this arena will decide the future of every driver on the planet. The new gladiators. In the old days, car companies fought with cylinders, turbochargers, and roaring engines. Whoever built the fastest car, the loudest car, won. But today, the battlefield has shifted. The gladiators are electric cars, and their weapon isn't noise, it's range. Because no matter how sleek an EV looks, if it can't take you far enough, it loses. This fight isn't just about machines, it's about psychology. Fear. The fear of being stranded with no charge. A fear so common it has its own name, range anxiety. So who dares to step into this arena? The first fighters. When Tesla entered the stage, they promised to end range anxiety forever. A car that could go hundreds of miles without charging. People laughed. They said it was impossible. But then it happened. The Tesla Model S crushed expectations with ranges once thought insane. Suddenly, the crowd was watching. The arena was alive. Other challengers followed: Rivian, Lucid, BYD, and the old titans like Ford, GM, and Volkswagen. Everyone wanted a piece of the fight. But this wasn't going to be a fair battle, because in the arena of range, every mile counts. The weapons of war. So how do you win? Some brands focus on bigger batteries, stuff more lithium inside, add more weight, and push a few more miles. But batteries are expensive, heavy, and mining them has its own cost. Others focus on software, teaching the car to sip power more carefully. Smarter motors, better aerodynamics, regenerative braking. Efficiency becomes the blade in this silent war. And then, there are dreamers working on new tech altogether. Solid-state batteries, wireless charging roads, even solar panels built right into the car's skin. But here's the question: will these weapons be enough? Or will the crowd turn on the gladiators before the fight is won? The blood in the sand. Because make no mistake, the arena has victims. Companies that entered the ring too soon, only to collapse under the pressure. Cars that promised 400 miles, but barely managed 200. Brands that hyped, delayed, and disappeared. Consumers remember every failure, and every broken promise feeds the monster of doubt. The audience begins to whisper, are electric cars really ready? But then, a new challenger steps forward, and the crowd holds its breath. The champions rise. Lucid Motors shocked the world with the Air sedan, claiming over 500 miles of range. More than many gasoline cars on a full tank, a record that turned heads across the arena. Meanwhile, Chinese automakers like BYD and NIO built EVs that could travel far and charge fast, cheaper than many Western rivals. Suddenly, the battle wasn't just about miles, it was about price, about speed of charging, about building the charging stations themselves. Because what good is range if you have nowhere to refill the chariot? The audience joins the fight, and here's the twist. In this arena, the audience isn't just watching, they're part of the battle. Every driver who buys an EV, every city that builds charging stations, every government that sets rules shapes the outcome. The gladiators may swing the swords, but the crowd decides who lives and who dies. And right now, the crowd is divided. Some cheer for the clean future of electricity, others boo, clinging to the roar of gasoline. The arena shakes with conflict. So, who will the final champion be? The hidden cost. But wait, there's a darker secret. More range means more batteries. More batteries mean more mining. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, pulled from the earth in ways that scar land and lives. Every extra mile of range carries a hidden cost. So the gladiators are caught in a paradox. Push too far and the crowd sees greed. Pull back and the crowd calls them weak. It's a fight not just of technology, but of morality. And in this arena, there are no easy victories. The future rounds. So where does the battle go from here? Some say the winner will be the company that builds the first solid-state battery. A cell lighter, safer, and far more powerful than anything today. Others say it's not about the car at all. all. It's about the charging grid. Fast chargers on every corner. Highways that charge cars as they drive. And a few whisper something even stranger. Maybe the true champion won't be electric at all. Maybe it will be hydrogen or something we haven't even seen yet. The arena roars with uncertainty. So now you know, the fight isn't just about who builds the fastest car. It's about who survives the arena of range. But this battle is only one act in a much larger war. Because while the world argues over range, another technology waits in the shadows. One that promises to refuel in minutes, not hours. In our next episode, we'll step into the strange and controversial world of hydrogen cars, the fuel of the future, or just another illusion. Don't miss it. Charging at the gates. Imagine this. You're on a road trip, driving your shiny new electric car. The screen flashes, battery low. You pull into a charging station, and every single spot is taken. Now you wait. Minutes tick by. Hours even. This is the hidden battle no one warned us about. The fight for charging. The new war at the gates. And what happens here will decide if the electric revolution survives or crashes. The promise of power. When electric cars were first sold to the masses, the promise was clear. No gas stations, no oil changes, no dirty fumes. Just plug in and drive. Simple, clean, futuristic. But there was a catch. A catch big enough to scare millions away. Because unlike filling a gas tank in 2 minutes, charging takes time. Sometimes a lot of time. And in the world of fast convenience, patience is a rare fuel. The first gates open. Tesla knew this. That's why they built the supercharger network. Sleek stations, faster speeds, a private club for Tesla owners. It worked. Drivers felt safe. Range anxiety shrank. But then came the flood. Dozens of new electric cars from rival brands. Thousands of new drivers. And suddenly, the gates were crowded. What started as a promise of freedom became a test of endurance. The siege begins. Stories spread online. Drivers waiting hours at busy stations. Angry fights breaking out in parking lots. Some people even unplugging other cars just to steal the power. Charging, once a symbol of progress, turned into a battlefield. Governments promised more stations. Automakers bragged about new networks. But the growth of EVs was faster than the growth of chargers. The gates were under siege. So who would defend them? The weapons of the battle. In this war, every company has its weapon. Tesla offers the fastest chargers in the world and recently opened them to other brands. A bold move or a trap to control the future. Meanwhile, oil giants like Shell and BP are turning gas stations into charging hubs. Imagine the irony. Oil companies selling electricity. And then there are startups experimenting with wild ideas. Battery swap stations that replace your pack in minutes, or mobile chargers that drive to you like power on wheels. But the question remains, are these enough to win the war? The human side of the siege. Because while companies fight, drivers live the reality. Some plan entire trips around charging stations, only to find them broken when they arrive. Others discover that fast charging isn't always fast, sometimes slowing down to a crawl. And in winter, the problem gets worse. Batteries drain faster. Queues grow longer. Tempers flare hotter. For the average driver, it feels less like freedom and more like waiting outside locked gates. The global front lines. But here's the twist. This war doesn't look the same everywhere. In Norway, chargers are everywhere. EV adoption is so high that gas cars look old-fashioned. The gates are wide open. In the US, it's uneven. Big cities may be fine, but in rural towns, charging can feel like finding an oasis in the desert. In China, the scale is staggering. Millions of chargers, some streets lined with them. Yet even there, the flood of cars is testing the system. The battlefield is global. The stakes enormous. The future tactics. So how do we win? Some say faster chargers, so powerful they can give you 80% in 10 minutes. But speed requires money, grids, and technology that not every place has. Others say smarter cars, AI that finds the best station, manages your route, even shares power between vehicles. And some whisper a radical answer. Skip charging altogether. Cars with batteries you swap like Lego pieces. No waiting, no lines, just in, out, and gone. But will the world accept such a shift? Or will the gates remain crowded forever? The hidden gatekeepers. Here's the part most people miss. Behind the scenes, the real gatekeepers aren't just car companies or oil firms. They're the power grids. Every fast charger pulls as much energy as dozens of homes. Multiply that by thousands, and cities strain under the demand. If the grid fails, the gates close, no matter how many stations exist. So the future of charging isn't just about where you plug in. It's about whether the lights stay on. So here we are. Charging stations aren't just parking spots. They're battlefields. And the war at the gates is far from over. The next time you plug in, remember, you're part of the fight. But what if the fight doesn't end with charging at all? What if the true future of energy isn't plugging in, but something entirely different? In the next episode, we'll uncover the boldest idea yet. Roads that charge your car as you drive. Endless power. No waiting. No gates. Don't miss it. The cult of the emperor. Imagine a world where one man's word was law, not because he ruled armies, but because people worshipped him. A world where failing to show loyalty could cost your life, where whispers against the ruler vanished permanently. This was not a fantasy. This was history. This was the cult of the emperor, and what happened inside it will shock you. The rise of divinity. From the moment Rome became an empire, emperors did more than command armies. They commanded minds. Some, like Augustus, presented themselves as gods on earth. Temples, statues, coins, everywhere his face stared back. Worship was not optional. It was mandatory. But why did people follow? Fear, faith, or something deeper? An unshakable belief that their emperor was a bridge between men and the divine? The answer lies in the power of ritual. The rituals of power. Every morning, citizens performed acts of devotion, bowing, offering incense, reading proclamations. Soldiers swore loyalty oaths that became almost sacred. Public ceremonies turned politics into theater. Triumphs were more than celebrations. They were proof that the emperor's favor shaped the world. And behind the pomp, spies watched. One false word could ruin a career or a life. So obedience wasn't just law, it was survival. The machinery of fear. The cult had a darker side. Secret police, informers, and treacherous courts ensured loyalty. History records countless senators and generals who fell, not to armies, but to whispers, rumors, and staged accusations. The emperor's power didn't need armies on the streets. It existed in shadows, in minds, in fear. And yet, despite terror, devotion grew. People built temples not just out of fear, but because they truly believed. How does fear become faith? That's the question the cult thrived on. The empire as stage. Rome itself became part of the act. The city's architecture screamed dominance. Massive columns, towering statues, roads leading to palaces. Every corner whispered the emperor's presence. And it wasn't just Rome. Provinces were pulled into the spectacle. Coins with his face circulated far and wide. Temples and festivals reinforced the same message. The emperor is divine. Resistance is futile. But as the empire grew, so did the cracks. The human cost. Because behind the glory and devotion, ordinary people suffered. Families torn apart by accusations. Soldiers executed for questioning orders. Scholars censored. Artists silenced. The cult created a tension between belief and survival. Some genuinely adored the emperor. Others smiled while hiding hatred. And the tension often exploded into chaos. The rise and fall. Some emperors were beloved. Augustus, Trajan, Marcus Aurelius, names that history remembers with awe. Their cults inspired art, philosophy, and architecture. Others, Nero, Caligula, Commodus, names that history remembers with terror. Their cults descended into madness, murder, and fear. The cult didn't care who the emperor was. It only cared that obedience was absolute. And sometimes, obedience itself became the empire's undoing. Echoes in modern power. Here's the twist. The cult of the emperor didn't vanish with Rome. Its echoes survive in modern politics, corporate hierarchies, and even celebrity culture. The lessons are clear. Power thrives not just through laws, but through devotion, fear, and spectacle. Public loyalty can be engineered. Fear can be worshipped. And humans still respond. History isn't just a story. It's a mirror. The question that haunts. So here's the real question. What drives devotion? Is it fear, faith, or the subtle blend of both that makes people line up for temples, or rallies, or screams? The cult of the emperor teaches a lesson we rarely admit. Power is most dangerous when it becomes invisible, when it creeps into hearts rather than armies. And the chilling truth, that type of power is always waiting to rise again. Next time, we'll explore one of the most extreme examples of devotion gone wrong. A ruler so feared and adored that entire cities were reshaped in his image, and a people forced to worship under threat of annihilation. The story of absolute devotion and total collapse. Don't miss it.